Trail Seeker Adventures brings you to round 7 of the Mountain State Hare Scramble, the Wolf Rock Raceway, Brewster Mills, West Virginia. We have us a good old-fashioned hare scramble here at the Mountain State Hare Scramble round 7. I'm racing the 40 AB class. There's 10 in this class. This is a double line. There's also the 30 AB class. Over 200 riders came out for this 2-hour event, and it's about 90 degrees, so it's going to be a hot one. Darius Lattee is lined up on my left. He was told it's going to be tight, technical, and rocky, and they did not lie. Let's get ready, and I'm going to show you a full lap and then just show you some highlights. Hope you enjoy it. Well, so far so good. The 300 Beta RR is always a quick starter, and we're hitting the woods. As you can see, the trail is already dusty. This is a part of the track that the youth has already ridden. I was loading up the bike, had everything ready to go. I'm on call for work, and wouldn't you know it, as I was heading to the truck, I got called out for work. I had loaded up my e-bike. I was wanting to come out here and check out some of the trails, but I barely made it in time to make it to the start. If you was at the race, you saw me at the start, you saw me go away from the start, then you saw me come back to the start, and then during the course description at the beginning of the race, you saw me push my bike past Richie, trying to be nice, sneaky, and head back away from the start. And then during the national anthem, I came back and sat there until after the national anthem, then lined back up. No, I wasn't going to the Porta-John. I first was there. I didn't have time to check my tire pressure. I have a bib in the back, but I had a tube in the front. I felt it was a little low, so I went, put a little air in the tire. Then we was getting ready to go. I turned the camera on, and I thought it said 2 hours and 43 minutes. But no, once I pushed play, it was 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So unfortunately, that would not have gotten you very much footage. So I thought, I got it. I mean, that's the main reason I'm here. I got to go get a different card. Went back to the truck. Luckily, I was parked pretty close to the start. Went back, threw in a card, and now we're getting you some awesome footage here at round 7 of the Mountain State Hare Scramble. As you can see, there was a little wet spot there. I think that and maybe 2 other wet spots was about the only spot of mud that we've seen. As you can see, it's pretty dry, and this track is going to fall apart pretty quickly. Right now, it's pretty beat in with just the youth out here ripping around. The Beta 300 RR is feeling pretty good at this point. I've been having issues with this bike shutting off. I put a new stator in it, and it's doing pretty good. I didn't have it shut off any this day other than once, and that was my fault. I stalled it. So hopefully I got that problem resolved. But I've been having problems mostly with the rear shock. You get halfway through the race, and then it feels like dog turds. Not that I've ever felt a dog turd. Well, maybe I did, picking it up in a Walmart bag or something. Well, that didn't feel very good. Neither did this bike by the end of the day. It beat me up pretty good. But for now, it's ripping pretty good. I'm trying to stay up front. I got a guy right behind me. I'm not sure if he's in my class. That's the only bad thing about starting on a row with 2 different classes in it. You never know who is behind you. If I knew this gentleman was in my class, I might have fought a little harder to not keep him behind me. But unfortunately, we get up here in the field, he comes ripping up beside me, and I let off of it. I mostly just wanted to see who it was because he was keeping my pace, and I want to know if he's in my class or not. So we come down in here, little surprise turn, like whoa, caught him by surprise too. I heard him kind of make a little gesture back here as far as he was surprised. So we come out of this field and we start slamming gears. Had a little hump to get over, then we were ripping up through here. I heard him coming, just kind of backed out of it. As you can see, he has his goggles down over his sticker on the back of his helmet, which tells me what class he's in. But I was kind of thinking it would be a 30 AB guy since we both started on the same row, but no, he was in my class. As we come to this hill climb, make sure you check it out. There's going to be a bottleneck right here. This is the 769 from New Statinsville, Ohio. Sean Starkey. And I don't know that I've ever raced against him before, but as you can see, he's starting to leave me in the dust. Well, yeah, it's very dry. This downhill right here, I never wrecked the entire day, but this downhill about got me 2 or 3 times. This dust is very slick, and although, you know, it must be a heavy dust, as you can see some of it, but it didn't like linger in the air like some dust. So maybe it's a heavy dust? I'm not sure, but I'm actually really liking this track so far. It's a tight, technical. I brought the 300 just because of that. Plus, I've been wanting to run it to make sure that I've got the problem resolved as far as the bike shutting off. But also, I've got to get this suspension figured out. It feels pretty good at high speeds, but man, you get into the choppy stuff, it just beats the crap out of me. If anybody has any suggestions, I do have the Sax forks in shock. I know the Sax forks aren't known to be good, but I put the Race Tech Gold Valve kit in it, and it's helped it a lot. But there's still, and it's probably just my lack of knowledge of figuring out how I adjust this thing for this choppy stuff and the rocks and the braking bumps. It's feeling pretty good right now, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to lean it against a tree and walk to the truck. But I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't. I definitely wanted to see the white flag. Maybe because I really haven't been doing these 2-hour things. Somebody I know says I need to start riding them a little bit because I might be getting out of shape. But I wouldn't admit it to him, but yeah, I was sucking some air by the end of this one. But I was having a blast. I don't know if you catch it somewhere through here. I'm like, I really like this trail. I'm having fun, or I'll say something stupid. I'm coming into an uphill here. It's not really all that steep, but it really gets rocky. As you can see, this the kids did not run. The youth race was not on this, and you can see that it's not broken. But you'll see towards the end of this video that gets pretty nasty up through there. This guy's getting huck-a-bucked everywhere. I'm not laughing because I looked worse than that a few times through there. As you can see, just one little slow moment trying to get around another rider, and I lost Sean, he's gone, and that's the last time I will see him the entire day. At this point in time, I didn't know he was still in my class. We're getting out here in this track that's not been ran as much, and I probably slowed down a little bit because I just want to be cautious. I'm just out here for fun. I'm not in this series for points this year. Somehow I need to try to keep my old butt in shape, so I'll come out here running these as much as I can. I've had a little break. My shoulder definitely is feeling better. As you can see there to the left, I was wanting to mention this. There's a course marshal right there to the left. That's going to come into play later. You'll have to watch the rest of the video to find out why I noticed that course marshal there. There's another one right on out here because we loop back and come out, and that's probably why he's sitting there, just because you can cut this corner off. But we go out and we loop back around there. But that course marshal sitting right there will come into play in a decision I'll make later on in this video. Yeah, there's the other course marshal I was thinking about. I guess that was a course marshal. It's somebody on a four-wheeler, and they look official, so it's a official course marshal. Well, we're coming up this wasn't too bad, and it really never got much worse until there was bikes laying in the middle of it. That had happened quite a bit today. As you can see, there was the 3-mile marker. This was a shorter course. As we come down the hill across this little bridge, we'll come up in here into the field, and then we'll go back down in the same gully. And this will become a trouble point as well as the day goes. This gets about 2 feet deep of dust with a lot of rocks underneath of it. You'll see a lot of bikes laying there throughout the day. But as I was saying, I've been having some shoulder pain. I did break my collarbone yesterday, or not yesterday. I wouldn't be out. Thank goodness I did break my collarbone yesterday. But last year at a Mountain State Hare Scramble, I did break my collarbone. And it's the same shoulder. I'm not sure if it's related to that. I've been having shoulder pains in both my shoulders. I am 52 years old, so I guess that comes with the territory. But I've been off the bike for 2-3 weeks, and it's feeling better. It's still not 100%, but I'm getting back to where I can twist the throttle a little bit. But my main goal today was not to hit the ground and to get some exercise. But as I was mentioning, if you've watched my video, you've heard me complain about it. And in case this is the first time you've watched one of our videos, we are Trail Seeker Adventures, and we bring our cameras to every event that we go to, whether it's a race event or a ride park or a mountain bike trail or a hike or whitewater kayaking, snowshoeing. We've been down Snowshoe Mountain on a mountain bike. If this is the type of stuff you're interested, we bring the camera, we give you all the information you need to know to see if that's an event that you want to take part in or maybe try later on. If you got an old bike sitting in the garage and you're looking for an event to come and try out, make sure you check our channel out. We've been to many different race series this year. We've been to many different ride parks. We've been out west on the side of mountains. If you ever wonder what it's like to ride your dirt bike out on some single track on some awesome trails, probably some of the best trails I've ever ridden out west, we've got that video out. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to decide whether or not we're going to do this for another year. We're going to finish this year out and see where we're at. If it doesn't look like, people's not getting the benefit of it, I don't mind videotaping, or no, I guess you don't really use a videotape. We use a video camera as I squeeze through the trees here. but we bring it. I don't mind doing it, but I absolutely cannot stand to do this video on the computer. It takes way too much time. But if it looks like it's going to be a benefit and people's enjoying it, I 100% appreciate the ones that came up to me on this day and said, hey, I watch your videos. That's what it's going to take to help keep me motivated to do something. I mean, obviously, I love riding dirt bikes. I say I'm done, I'm not doing it anymore. Then about a week later, I can't wait to get back out on my dirt bike. And I also don't mind videotaping. It's just the whole 6 hours, 7 hours it takes to put one of these videos together. If you could just subscribe to this channel, that way I know I'm doing something that you all like. Just like, subscribe. You can point, or I would point, but if you are on a mobile device, just look down at the bottom right hand side of your corner. You'll see a little red icon that says subscribe. Click that, scroll up until you, or swipe up until you see our logo. Push that and you can subscribe. It's that easy. We'll go to YouTube and look up Trail Seeker Adventures, go to our logo and subscribe. That will help me know that I'm doing something that's beneficial to you. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. If you want me to talk less, talk more, talk like Donald Duck, I can do that too. Not that I want to, but I just want to make sure I get something out there that's somewhat entertaining and beneficial, and information that will help you get your bike loaded up in the truck and come out and try it out. This was a tight little rock garden, and that is where my bike does not feel very good. I usually love this type of stuff. It reminds me a lot of the Marvin's Mountaintop, and I've always liked Marvin's Mountaintop, but these betas, I'm really having trouble with getting them to feel good in that rough, gnarly, slower, choppy stuff. They feel good going fast, such as a GNCC type stuff, but I've raced, well, we've had the 8-hour challenge with SXCS. It was rocky. We had the SXCS cross country or hare scramble, whatever you want to call them, but it was rocky, and neither one of my bikes felt very good at all on it. The 430 is completely stock, but that's going to change here pretty soon. I'm going to get the forks done on it. It has the KYB forks. They don't feel too bad, other than it's choppy stuff. But any suggestions, I would greatly appreciate it, or any help. Anybody wants to do a set of forks. Anyways, we're coming down here, and there's a nice little off-camber hill. It looks a lot worse than it was.
Hi.
Thanks for rooting me on. A lot of people out here, there's probably some people having troubles on this hill. There was a lot of off-camber on this track, which really wasn't too bad. Traction, I had a pretty wore out Michelin on the front, but it's still a pretty good tire. And I think I had maybe 2 races on the Michelin on the back with a soft bib, and I had no problems with traction anywhere. But it started sprinkling throughout the day. Luckily it wasn't a lot, but this track would have been probably a different story if it was wet. I sure appreciate all the help on the track and all the people rooting me on. That's one awesome thing about coming to a local. I'm not sure what this gentleman had. I think he thought he had a flat tire or something. He comes out of nowhere and he's going. He's going. Most of the day we were in probably second, third, maybe even first gear. But this was the only spots that we were able to crank it out. There's a couple field sections, but other than that, it mostly lived up to what they said it was going to be. Tight, technical, rocky course, and I absolutely loved it. I really just wish my bike handled it a little better and I was in a little better shape. I've been getting a little lazy. I don't ride at all anymore unless I'm racing, and unfortunately it shows in my results. So we're coming out through the field here. There's one scary moment right, oh no, yeah, right here. There's a branch right there. I ducked just in time. I really wish they would put an arrow or a danger sign or something. I guarantee you somebody got their head smacked pretty hard. I hit my helmet off of it. But you're coming out of a field into the shade. Your eyes hasn't adjusted yet. And when you're coming in there hot and heavy, if you don't see that, that could very easily hurt somebody. But, you know, maybe they didn't think about it. Coming past my pits there, getting ready to come in and wrap up lap number 1. So, as we always do, we try to get you one full lap. That way, if you had an issue somewhere on the track, you can show your loved ones or family or friends where it was, what you had to deal with. But now it's mostly just going to be a highlights. And what I mean by highlights, because I really didn't have a lot of issues. I don't think my handlebar hit the ground all day, which is very unusual for me. But if I pass somebody, I try to get them on the video, so you know you can find yourself if you happen to be on the track. So here is that bottleneck, our very first bottleneck. I went from the first lap maybe seeing 2 people. This is at about mile 1, maybe mile 1.5, and I think I passed maybe half the C-class there. I'm not sure, but there was a lot of riders right there all of a sudden. Kind of caught me off guard. Basically what it was, the hill wasn't that steep. It's just the dust got so deep you couldn't see the rocks and stuff on it. You really had to keep your momentum. Here I got passed probably by a B rider. He goes down. I think I can get back around him, but then he comes back around me. But yeah, this hill here is probably the scariest part for me the entire day, other than that branch that was sticking out. I nibbed it, and it scared me enough to slow down and look for it the next lap. But when I seen it, there was bark missing all off of that limb, so I know other people hit it. But if you're not going to cut it, try to maybe put a danger sign. Thanks for saying hi, bud. I didn't get your number. As you can see, the dust got really deep, and that was the main issue on this track, was the dust. Not that it was dusty, it just covered all the rocks and stuff.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
And I've got to say, there's over 200 riders on this course. They haven't put out the results yet, so I haven't got the chance to see the official numbers on it. I know there was 10. I took a snapshot of my class and the top overall, I think up to 50 or whatever. But there was over 200 riders out here, and everybody done awesome as far as lap traffic, whether I'm coming through or if, you know, like when somebody came around me, I want to make sure that I gave them plenty of room. But I think I had maybe 2 events where the guy thought I was coming on one side of him and pulled over in front of me. As you've seen there, that course marshal was still there at that spot that I was talking about. But anyways, everybody did awesome. Come up on them. let them know you're coming, and just like that, they just get right out of your way. And that's the safest way. If you watch my last video, I had an issue with a gentleman that ran me for 2.5 miles on a tight course like this. But that's the way it goes. But everybody was awesome out here today, and I want to give a big thanks, and I applaud you all for being very courteous. You never know whether the guy is in your class or not, but it's better safe than sorry sometimes, and I need to take my own advice on that as well. And I did on this day. There's a gentleman that will be passing me. I think we passed each other probably 6 times throughout the day. We'll be seeing him soon. Okay, so here we're on the second hill climb. I said there was a bottleneck, and here's some of it. As you can see, that rut got very deep. You had hey man, thanks for rooting me on up there. You rooted me on every time, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I had a blast out here. I really just wish my bike was handling it. At this point, it was still feeling pretty good, but the track was getting rougher, and I was getting slower, and the bike just kept feeling worse and worse and worse. And I can say, you know, they hit the money, or hit the time right on the money as far as 2 hours, but I was wanting that white flag to come out about 2 laps early. I've been working on, this was one of the other wet spots, and that's an off-camber wet spot with a tree right in the way. You come in here too hot, you're going to have a radiator full of tree. And I seen somebody go down there, but he went down after the tree. But anyways, I've been trying to work on coming out the turns harder, more aggressive. The 450 on that Suzuki, I think it kind of spoiled a little bit. You didn't really have to twist on it very hard to come out of those turns and stuff. But with this 300, you got to clutch it and get it up and going. I did that early on this race. I can't wait to see the lap times come out. I have a feeling my first few laps was pretty quick, and my last few laps was pretty slow. But I'm trying to be aggressive, like right here, trying to get back into the throttle as fast as I can and leave it on as long as I can. That's something I always need to work on, is being more aggressive. I've been more of a laid-back rider, but I consider myself somewhat smooth to the point to where I don't make a lot of mistakes, and I want to try to keep that, but I don't. But I need to get more aggressive on the throttle. So that's what I was trying to on this day. And watching the video, the first lap I was okay with the way I ride. You know, a lot of times you see a picture or you see a video, when you're actually doing it, you feel really fast. But then when you watch yourself doing it, it's like, holy cow, you need to pick it up a little bit. Well, this time on the first lap, I felt pretty good, but I know as the day went, with me not riding as much as I should, I'm definitely slowing down throughout the day.
Thank you, buddy.
Richie and the crew put on a good event here today. The track was definitely tight and technical, and I was back and forth whether or not I wanted to come out, just because I'm on call and I didn't want something fast to where I had a chance of getting hurt. No, you always have a chance of getting hurt, but when I texted him and said, hey, I needed to know whether or not I had cell phone service because I'm on call, and he said, yeah, he should have. But he also, I asked him, what was the track like, and he just said that it was going to be tight and technical. And when I heard that, I'm like, yep, if there's a way of doing it, I'm going to get there. And I'm glad I did. I didn't get called out after my first event at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, it was Richie and the crew put on a good event, and that's always good to see. I just point out sometimes, like the branch or whatever, I helped course marshal for many years and helped cut trail for a lot of different series, and there's always something out there you can possibly miss. I've been hurt enough in my life that I like to try to prevent them as much as possible. So I'm not ragging on nobody. I just point out things that obviously can make the series, whatever race series that I'm racing. I'll point them out, and that way hopefully next time we don't have to worry about those little issues. We're coming back to that same area with the tree branch. Shoot, I cut it out. Well, anyways, we're coming back into lap number 3, finishing up lap number 2. I am second. I forgot to mention that the first time I came through. I was second. That guy that passed me on the first lap, he was in my class.
Thanks, buddy.
Now we're coming back for the 3rd time to that hill. Thanks there, young man, for pointing me out a good line, but we're coming back to the first bottleneck. And I tried not to stop. You want to look to see what your best options is, but most of the time I'm just winging it. I'm just twisting that gas and hoping for the best. And just about every time at this race I got pretty lucky. We're coming over here to this downhill that to me was the scariest part of the entire track. It's kind of slick and rocky, off camber in spots. I think this guy has a little issue at the bottom or something. Yeah, he gets a little jacked up there, not much. Nothing he can't handle.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I had mentioned a young man that we passed each other 4 or 5 times. Well, that's him. That was Elijah Martin. He passed me. I think that was the first time he passed me. But we'll see him again up here late in the middle of the track. But he would pass me, go a little ways, and then get tied up some way or another. I'd pass him back. I think I passed him more than... Well, no, I passed him more than anybody in my class the whole day. There he was late in the middle of the track. He must have hit a rock on this hill climb and took himself out. But about a lap or so later, he passes me back, and then I get back around him. He ended up beating me for the day. He started behind me. But it's just fun to get out there and ride with each other. He lives, I believe, in Montrose, which I live in Elkins. I don't know the guy real well, but it's just cool to be able to hang out and have fun out on the track. We never said a word to each other. Right there's one of the events where the gentleman was being kind and moving over, but sometimes you're best just to stay in your lane and let the gentleman behind you or lady. I've had that happen too. Let the lady or gentleman behind you work their way around. Just stay in your lane. Don't mess your race up. Just hold your line, and just like that gentleman did, and they'll get around you. But Elijah and I, we, at least I did, had a blast with each other out here on the track. So we're coming down across this bridge again. A guy got stuck here. I made a new line, which I used the rest of the day. It just set me up for that turn better. And here we're back to the second bottleneck area. I've come up through here and I'm just gassing on it, and I get a wheelie going and I'm like, oh, I felt like a pro there for about 0.3 seconds. But then now I'm not feeling like a pro anymore. Probably gasping for air and got a mouthful of dry spit. Sometimes it's little things like that. You just entertain yourself. I mean, you're 2 hours out here pretty much, you know, in dry conditions. You're hot. There's a few times I felt a little dizzy. I couldn't get enough water out of my Camelback. There's something you got to do to entertain yourself out here. Yeah, you're going fast through the woods. You're racing a dirt bike. But sometimes it just gets a little boring. And you just want to get to the finish line. I don't understand us dirt bikers. Why do we do this? I had my wife Heidi and her good friend Nancy was racing. No, they weren't racing. They was out trail riding. They were like got stuck on a hill, pushing each other. It was muddy. They were having a really tough time. And Nancy had a GoPro, and she leaned over to Heidi and says, Heidi, why are we even doing this? And Heidi says, because it's fun. They probably, I don't know, these girls, they have more fun than we do. But here we're back at the rock garden. As you can see, I'm getting through it, but it's nothing pretty.
Thank you. Hop, hop. Thank you.
A little tricky off Camber Hill, and it came down in this ditch. The bottom line got real bad with a rut, and we made, I say we as in the racers, made an upper line, kept us up out of the mud. So we're coming back up into the pit area. Bradley trying to give me a drink, and I went by him. I'm like, crap, I should have grabbed that. And then every time after that, I looked at Bradley, and he had no drink. So, but I was doing okay. I was just hoping maybe it was cold. Coming back around, I wanted to see where I was at. Still in second. I was staying right at 1:20 back from first, but I started getting the worst butt pain. This bike started feeling like it never even had suspension on it, and then my booty started hurting, and then my booty was hurting about 3 laps to go. Couldn't hardly stand to sit down, so I tried to stand up, but I know I should stand up, but I just cannot do it on these tight technical things. I'll stand up by coming down through here, but for the most part, if it's fast, I'll stand up. But if it's slow and technical, my butt is on the ground. Even if it has blisters on it, which it did on this day. So we're coming back down into the first bottleneck. Bike's going every which way. I wasn't having no problem on the main line, so I kind of wanted to come down here and get on the main line. But this right line here, I gotta give it up to Richie. There may be a bottleneck out there, but he's right out there in the middle of it, pushing bikes and helping his riders get up the hill. I think this is the lap. When I came down through here, it jacked me up a little bit. Right there, I hit a rock, and I come down in there a little hot and heavy after I gathered myself up. Looks like he had the same issue. I put a new clutch cover as a Polysport clutch cover protector on it, and my foot kept catching it instead of the brake 2-3 times. So I wanted to do something about that. So we're coming up here. Oh no, that was not. This is not the lap. It may be the next lap. Actually, no, maybe it is this lap. I think it is this lap. So we come up through here. We come around, and I look. Oh crap! There's a guy there. It looked like he took his helmet off. And it looks like he's dead, but he was moving. I thought, I'll come up here and tell the course marshal that's been sitting there the entire race. Well, he was not there. And so I drive around here, look for the second one, because, I mean, he's laying there. There's really nothing I can do. I mean, he was breathing, he was moving around. He obviously was in pain. He took his helmet off, so unless it knocked it off. I never thought about that, unless he hit a tree and it knocked his helmet off, but that usually don't happen. I'd say he took his helmet off. I've hit the ground a few times and had to lay there for a second, but I thought, I can't help him none. I can't throw him on the bike. I need to go get a course marshal. So I drive around here, and I thought, well, the first one's gone, but maybe he's over here. And I come back over here, and they're gone. So the very first course marshal that I find, I let them know that, hey, right before the whoopie whoops, there's a guy down hurt. So hopefully he had a radio. Came back around the next lap. Unfortunately, my battery goes dead, and I don't get a little bit more of this lap. But I let him know, and hopefully he could radio somebody and let them know. And there's bikes everywhere that there was a guy over there hurt. If anybody knows who that was, if you could message maybe, let me know if he's okay. But basically, I ended up second. The last 2 laps, I definitely slowed down. I stayed steady, running as hard as I could, as hard as I felt safe, as an old man can run. And I was staying right at a minute 20 from the guy. Here, the guy threw up some dust, and I had to make a detour up the hill climb, but thanks for rooting me on again. But I seen I wasn't going to catch the guy. Sean was being pretty consistent as well. So I basically, after my booty started hurting, and then on the last lap my shoulder was hurting, so I just slowed down and was just going to bring it in safe. I finished second. Let's go see. Sean got first. I got second. Steve Lambrino got third. Dennis Lattee got fourth, and Ryan Barnett got fifth. Rich King got sixth. So there's 10 of our class. It's a pretty big class for us. Oh, hey, thanks for the little hotline there.
Thank you.
But it's good to have friends. But I finished up.
Hey, somebody's hurt back here before the
24th
whoopee
overall.
jumps.
I'm okay with that. My bike felt a little better, and if I was in a little better shape. You always look at this list of overall. You see people that you used to be able to keep up with, and I see a couple names up there that I used to be
This
able to
thing
keep up
feels
with.
absolutely
And
horrendous.
I think I need to get in a little better shape. So as soon as this shoulder gets feeling better, I'm going to get out on the track and practice. But make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can subscribe by hitting this logo in the middle or watch another video.